Jai Gurudev, Om Paramtattvaya Narayanaye Gurubhyo Namaha. Today we are here to talk about Kal Bhairav. I've already posted one lecture in Hindi, so for those of you who do want to understand this topic or the content of Kal Bhairav ji in Hindi, you can refer to that lecture. I also wanted to take some time to give this session in English as well. Again, sometimes it's very hard to translate everything exactly that we have read and understood from Hindi or Sanskrit to English. Sometimes the meaning is also lost in the translation, but I will definitely try my best to make the content as simple as possible. Many of you may be hearing it for the first time, and many of you may have heard about Bhairav, but may not have fully understood or grasped the concept of who Bhairav is. So let's get started. Om Paramtattvaya Narayanaye Gurubhyo Namah. So coming days is the occasion of Kal Bhairav Jayanti, the month of Margashisha as per our Hindu calendar, the month of Margashisha during the Krishna Paksh, which is the waning phase of the moon, Krishna Paksh Ashtami, which is the eighth night, you could say. That period, so again I repeat, Margashisha month, Krishna Paksh Ashtami, that period or that tithi is called Kal Bhairav Ashtami. This year, Kal Bhairav Ashtami falls on 22nd of November 2024. And I said in my Hindi lecture, people who are born on 22nd of November are superhumans. I think they're exceptional. And this is definitely a very special occasion for me because this year, 22nd November, is also Kal Bhairav Ashtami. So we want to make sure that we are showing excitement. We are preparing for his arrival, just like we do for any other events, right? Let's say if you have a wedding being planned, or if you have any graduation ceremony being planned in your families, right? The excitement can begin 6 months earlier, right? It's a wedding and people will start thinking about shopping and catering and the food. All of that excitement can begin 6 months later, right? The main um, the main event may be few months and years sometimes down the line, but the energy, and suddenly we get a burst of energy from God knows where, and we are willing to just spend time looking for the venue, the catering, the food, the shopping, and endless chatter just to prepare and just to we just welcome this very special day. I feel the same energy, I feel the same enthusiasm, because this coming days, which is really on 22nd November, is literally less than 20 days from now, as I see it. Is very exciting days, is very exciting period, because many of us are preparing ourselves, our houses, our homes, our own inner Atma, our own bodies, our own mind, soul, everything. We are so ready with everything to prepare for his arrival, for Kal Bhairav's arrival. In simple terms, you can call it as birthday. So we are ready to welcome him on Kal Bhairav Ashtami on the 22nd of November this year. So I do want to mention and get a little deeper into what Bhairav really means. Now, if you Google the word Kal Bhairav or Bhairav, it's interesting because Google will display all these images, which, if you have never looked at it before, I can guarantee that you will be either stunned, you will be either, oh, wow, or you'll be like, never knew that, interesting. Or some people will definitely get more curious and dive a bit more into it. Or some may get, oh, wow, this is not for me. This is not my kind of path. I'm not into this. This is not the right thing for me. So before you start googling and before you start gathering, there's so much of information these days on internet. I would say there's so much of misinformation these days on internet that it really doesn't really help us in the long run, especially for those who are very serious spiritual seekers who really want to progress on this path of sadhana. So Kal Bhairav, let's just talk about Bhairav first now. What is the meaning of Bhairav? Bhairav, Bhai means fear. And fear is anything that is impacting your life, that is impacting your productivity, anything that is creating barriers in your life from reaching from you, or creating barriers in your life so you're not able to accomplish your goals. You may have certain aspirations and goals, and there are problems coming in your way. There is some kind of a fear always in your mind, and that fear can definitely be a big hurdle in you being able to achieve the maximum potential of your talent, of your life, of your caliber, of who you are. It is very hard to find any human being who doesn't have some kind of fear. People who are poor have fear that they are poor and they cannot meet the basic needs of their family. What if their children will not survive because they don't have food? What if their children never get educated? What if their children end up being on the streets? People who are very rich have much bigger fear. And let me tell you honestly, this is my personal experience. People who have everything have so much bigger fear that one could only imagine, and so much unnecessary fear. And that really makes us question that what is the purpose of life, that one constantly continues to live in some fear, some insecurity that may or may not be necessary, especially people who already have enough. They fear all that will be taken away someday, or, you know, or they fear that there is nobody who loves them truly. They cannot trust anybody. They fear their own loved ones can do something to them. They fear that they might lose everything in a blink of an eye. They fear their children will not continue with their businesses or whatever their family businesses that they have. There's so much fear in general. So they fear income tax. They fear income tax and raids and everything, and they lose sleep. And I'm telling this because I've seen people coming to my Guruji for people who have, you cannot even count the zeros in their banks, multimillionaires who are always living in some sense of fear. So that kind of fear. So again, so there is always some kind of fear that we are all gripped with. There is always some kind of insecurity. There is some kind of energy that is really withdrawing all our energy, that is really withdrawing all our vitality from our lives, and we are not able to accomplish 100% of what we are born for. Bhairav. Bhairav is that god who is completely capable of annihilating or destroying all your enemies, all your problems, and fear is one of the biggest problems. And like I said, Bhai means fear. That god or that Shakti, which is completely capable of destroying all fear from your life, so you can enjoy, or you can enjoy the amrit of your life that you are meant for, that you are born for. That Shakti is Kal Bhairav. Kal Bhairav is an avatar of Lord Shiva. Kal Bhairav is called Rudra avatar. He is a little ferocious form of Shiva. And again, in this context, I do want to also explain very clearly that what is ferocious for one may not be ferocious for the other. Kali may be ferocious for you. Kali was not ferocious for Swami Ramakrishna ji. Kali was not ferocious for my Guruji. My Guruji had several visions of Ma Kali and Ma Bhaglamukhi and Ma Chinnamasta, and not once did he ever fear their appearance. Kali, when she appeared to Swami Vivekananda ji, do you really think Vivekananda ji was afraid of Ma Kali? No. He went into some trance and he went into some state where he could not even open his mouth in front of Ma Kali. That was the state of ecstasy that Paramhans Ramakrishna ji or Swami Vivekananda ji or my own Guruji or my Param Guruji have all experienced. So what may be fearful for one may not be fearful for other. What may be loving for one may not be loving for other. For example, you may love someone and I may not like that person. And we see this even in families. One person likes one person, that same person will not be liked by the rest of the family. In your college and in your office, somebody may speak highly of some person. The rest of us may not, we just want to know what, I don't want to associate with that person. I want to keep some distance from that person. And some people who may look a little ferocious, high energy or something, some people enjoy being in their company, while others will be like, not my kind of association. I want to stay away from this person because I fear him or it's not my type. So it's a very deep thinking in terms of what really fearful means. So while Bhairav, like I said, if you Google his images, may appear very this and with all these big teeth coming out and with a khappar and with a skull. And I will explain more in details in our next lecture, the overall Swaroop of Bhairav. First of all, how beautiful and how peacefully he is. And if you have ever understood the meaning of Kal Bhairavashtakam by our revered Guru, Jagat Guru Adi Shankaracharya ji, you will understand Kal Bhairav is nowhere like what he's shown or what he's depicted as. Okay? So going back to fearful, so Kal Bhairav ji again, while he is ferocious, while he is a fearful form of Lord Shiva, he is also the grantor, or he's also the one ready to bless you and ready to bestow upon you everything that you ask for. My mother may be my protector. My mother may be fearful for somebody else. I may be fearful for somebody else. I may not be fearful for my own children. My children will know that if I go ask mom something, if it is the right thing, okay, quote, if it is the right thing to ask, my mother will fight tooth and nail she'll fight heaven and hell to get it for me. My children have that confidence in me. I have that confidence in my parents. Any child, anybody will have that confidence in their own parents that if I want something, if I want to go to this college, my mom and dad will fight all odds and they will try their best to put me in the best college, right? That same parent may appear very ferocious or very fearful to his friends, maybe who are troubling the children. Those friends may not want to come to this house. Oh, you know what? I don't want to come to your house because I'm a little afraid of your mom, or I'm a little afraid of your father. I'm not gonna loiter around your home because I'm afraid of your family, or I'm afraid. But the family is here only trying to protect that child. And the child will be like, why are you afraid of my mom? Why are you afraid of my father? My father is the best father in the world. My mom is the best mom in the world. I think you should come over to my house. Why are you afraid to come over? And the friend will be like, no, 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 no. I don't want to come out. You meet me outside, but I'm afraid to come to your house. Right? Right? Isn't it true? Like it happens to many of us. We may have seen this. So, and so while the same mom or while the same father figure is above and beyond, going out above and beyond to protect you, to give you everything that you need to evolve and to go to the next step, that same mother and the father figure may appear very fearful and very ferocious to somebody who they think are going to be troublemakers for his children. So similarly for Kal Bhairav ji, Bhairav, as I said, I mean, even though he is here, he's here to destroy all our fear that we may have. Fear can be external. You may fear your boss. You may fear in some cases, your friends. You may fear your husband and wife in some cases. Unfortunately, some people have those kind of relationships. You may fear external people. You may fear your family and friends and relatives who may not always have the best intent for you. And fear in this case just doesn't mean like you're quaking in the boots or you're like, really, oh my God, like that, but you're just, like just a bit skeptical, right, of keeping too much of closeness with certain people because there's some kind of fear, that this person is going to trouble me or this person is going to do something to me, right? So, and those can be external circumstances that can create fear, but there are also internal fear that one may have. Like I said, right? The rich people who have so much have some kind of fear always that, oh, I may lose something. Whether or not they will lose, that time will tell. But they'll continue to live in some fear. They continue to live in some insecurity. Some people have some fear of, oh, how am I going to start looking 20 years from now? Oh my God, I can see some lines on my face. I can see some gray hair popping up. How am I going to look? How am I going to, all of that kind of little things that constantly suck the energy out of you, that is constantly creating some kind of negativity in your life and some kind of fear in your life. So fear can be of many types. We can talk about it for hours. But in this context, anything, any situation, or any people, any person that is impacting your life, that is creating some kind of fear in your life. That is why Bhairav is here to help you, to protect you. And he is not ferocious for his own children, for people who are on the right path, for people who are asking him for the right boons, for people who love him like a father figure, guys. Love him like he's your own. Do you fear Shiva? I'll ask many of you. Do you guys fear Shiva? No. Why? Why? Because Shiva is also very Rudra. Shiva, if you read his Tandav Stotra, or if you read any of his times when he comes and destroys asuras, or when the time of dissolution happens, when the entire universe is about to be destroyed, and Shiva does his Tandav, and Shiva comes in his Rudra avatar, right, to completely destroy this and recreate a new universe. How fearful he may appear and how fearful he could look. But Shiv Puja is a very common thing in every household. In fact, majority of the Hindus will definitely have some kind of a shivling in their homes, offering water, and all that is our daily ritual. We never have that kind of fear from Shiva. We love Shiva. We love Shiva for who he is. We call him Bholenath. I always call him Bholenath. I don't call him Shiva. I call him Bholenath because he is so innocent. Because if you read our scriptures, most of these asuras who want to acquire power and want to destroy the devatas, first thing they will do is they will always meditate upon Shiva. And that is because they all think that Shiva is Ashutosh and Shiva is Bholenath, means he who is so innocent and very, very easily he gives away the boons. Yeah, not that Shiva is not smart. He very well knows what he is doing before he is giving any boon, guys. Shiva may have given a lot of boons to Ravan, doesn't mean that Ravan could not be kept in check when the time was right. So don't think that just because Shiva is Ashutosh and Shiva is Bholenath, I can go and meditate and I'm going to ask for something and Shiva is going to grant me something. Yes, Shiva will grant you something, but Shiva also knows how to keep that, checks in place. So, but Shiva is, yes, he is definitely one Lord who can be easily, very easily pleased, very easily, very, very simple forms of worship. For Krishna, we just had our Govardhan Day, literally yesterday. This whole thing about Chappan Bhog. Oh my God, there's so much that one needs to do sometimes. I feel like because Krishna is like a royal, right? I mean, he's always in some royal attire. There's definitely so much going on. But Shiva, where does he live? He lives in Kailas, in this cold, isolated place where there is no palace, no mansions, none of the riches, none of it. Shiva wants to be left alone, always in his samadhi. Shiva wants the most easiest way to please Shiva. What is it? Water. What do we do for Shiv Puja? Always, mostly it's water on Shivling, or in some cases, water mixed with black sesame. That's the most basic thing. What does Shiva have? Shiva, what did he have during Amrit Manthan? He had poison that nobody wanted. Everybody were busy, fighting for the Amrit. But Shiva, very, very simple to please. Always, he will always go after the ones that is often ignored or something that other gods don't want. Whether it's poison, whether it's that dhatura fruit, whatever it's called, all of those kind of things, that nobody wants to consume, and they grow in the wild west and the wild. And Shiva is one god, and really Parmeshwar that will just happily take whatever you offer. And there is one story, and I know I'm deviating from Kal Bhairav, but I'll quickly say it maybe in a few seconds that there was one very famous saint, and he actually used to keep his feet on top of shivling, and even while sleeping sometimes, so because whatever his space was, and he used to actually put his feet on shivling and sleep. And then somebody once asked him, like, how could you sleep like this, why are you putting your feet on the shivling, and why are you touching the shivling with the feet, Shiva is going to be so angry at you. And then the saint says, where should I keep my feet? The whole universe is permeated with Shiva. The whole universe is Shiva. Kan kan mein Shiv hai. Kan kan mein Shivji hai. Every nook and corner, every part of this being and every part of this cosmic creation and universe is permeated with Shiva. So where should I keep my feet? No matter where I keep my feet, Shiva is there. So that's the glory of Shiva. And one day I can keep talking about Shiva and his glory, but some other time. So, Kal Bhairav. So, Kal Bhairav again is a form of Shiva, a little ferocious form of Shiva. But like I said, if we are willing to worship Shiva, we happily worship Shiva. We do not fear Shiva, so there is nothing to fear Kal Bhairav. If your intent is right, if you're asking for the right thing, you will get it from Shiva or Kal Bhairav. But if your intent is wrong, or if you're not asking for the right thing, you will definitely get slapped on your face, just like your own parents will do. You think you can make any kind of demand and expect your parents to give it to you? No. At least I know, I mean, in India, we used to just get one chamat on the face, right? For any kind of things if we cross the boundaries, right? Um, Same for Kal Bhairav. If you are asking for something that is not according to the dharma, for example, if you are doing some kind of a Bhairav sadhana and asking for destruction of someone, or to create harm to someone, or to incite some kind of negativity in someone else's life, if you're trying to do any of these kind of, in tantra we call it maran prayog, uchatan prayog, all of that, right? Definitely while it is being done, I'm not saying that if you go to the Vamachari and if you go to certain sects of Tantra, definitely those kind of sadhanas are done, where those are more, much more tantric forms of sadhana and much more Maran and these kind of sadhanas are done. But at least in my Guruji's path and the things that we have learned, most of the sadhanas are either to change the situation, to give us relief from the situation. And that could also mean that, hey, Bhairav, let's say I have some problem with some person and this person is troubling me. Bhairav, please remove this problem from my life. Or do not pray that, do something to this person. Let Bhairav take care of that, right? He knows what to do. He may transfer that person to some other location, or he may transfer you to a better location, or he may give that person some other opportunity, or something may happen that things will even out between you two and things will start to get better. So that's the intent that you should have, is always wish for something good and do not get into any kind of these Bhairav sadhanas or Mahavidya sadhana with the intent to create or produce harm in someone else's life. I was just thinking about Sundarkand yesterday as I was going through some Ramayana, and it was great. And I want to give a lecture on Sundarkand one day, where how Ravan, we all know the story, right? He lit up Hanuman's tail, and and what it really finally led to was Lanka being destroyed. That golden Lanka was completely destroyed. And I want to get into the deeper meaning of that. It is not that one person lit somebody's tail and all that. You think Hanuman was not capable of taking care of his tail? I mean, he's Hanumanji, right? But there's definitely a meaning behind it, and we'll definitely talk about it. So again, Bhairav sadhana should always be done with the right intent for those who are really wanting to get much more serious in the sadhana mark. And if you are also getting interested in the Shakti sadhana, which is the Mahavidya sadhana, I would say even the Durga sadhana, any kind of Shakti sadhana is often done with Bhairav being done first. So usually what we do is we do our Guru Ganesh, who will remove all obstacles, Bhairav, Hanuman, Gayatri. These are the most basic sadhanas that one must do. And along with that, one must also continue to do several anushtans of Bhairav sadhana in their lifetime. So they're completely free from all kind of negativity, all kind of any situation that is troubling you. And if you're getting deeper and deeper into Durga sadhana or any kind of Shakti sadhana, it is imperative to first complete your Bhairav sadhana or Bhairav Anushtan. And one thing to observe is, like, all the Shakti peeths that we have 51 Shakti peeths, some call it 100 plus. There's different. But any Shakti peeth that if you have ever gone to, in fact, I would say most of the Shakti temples will always have Bhairav, some kind of a Bhairav idol or a Bhairav statue in those temples. So every single Shakti Peeth must and will have a Bhairav, because he's there to protect and he's the protector of not just the Shakti, of not just that Kshetra, means that area, but also of all the seekers who are coming in for worship and all these people who visit those temples. So Bhairav is there to protect each one of those seekers. Two main places that is definitely very important from the Bhairav sadhana perspective, from Tantra perspective, from any kind of sadhana perspective, and it's not just Tantra, even if you're a Shiv Bhakt, two places is definitely that we have often been to with Guruji was, of course, Kashi, where, like I explained, Bhairav is in the Kotwal, he's the Dandapani, he's the one with the stick. Dandapani means the one who will punish you with one nice danda, with one nice rod. And Ujjain also is a very powerful place for anyone who's wanting to get deeper and also get results much faster and many more times the results. So if you ever have a chance, do make it a priority to visit Kal Bhairav and Mahakal Ujjain Kshetra in India, two most powerful places for Shiva, for Shakti, and also for Bhairav. So again, Bhairav is, like I said, he's Kotwal, Kashi ke Kotwal. He is the Nyayadhish. He is the court of justice, basically. He is here to deliver the results of the good and the bad. If you have done good, the results is good. If you have done bad, he's just here to deliver the justice. And from what we know, that if Shani punishment, and when Shani hits you, it's not as intense, but when Bhairav hits you, it may be like, you know, koti fold of Shani's danda. So be very careful and of you know any kind of activities that can um, displease Lord Bhairav, especially when you go to these kind of Tirtha Kshetra like Kashi and Ujjain. I want to make sure that don't see it as a way of tourism, and people I see, they trash these places and they litter these places, and it's just disheartening to see what people do. And people go around and do all sorts of things. They think it's a vacation. They don't see it as a sadhana place, and they just live like their own daily lives, like they would be living in their home with literally garbage around them. Um, do know that all that you're doing in these kind of kshetras, you will definitely be very handsomely rewarded by Kal Bhairav. So be very careful. Make sure you understand the boundaries of these places. Make sure you know who the presiding deities and who the protector of Kashi is and who the Lord of Justice of Kashi is. So be very careful. For anything that you want, boons and blessings, Bhairav is the easy most easily pleased God. No harm in doing his sadhana. If you don't want to get into japa or sadhana, you can certainly continue his Kal Bhairavashtakam, like I mentioned. You can find several videos. I will start doing a short session on explaining the meanings of Kal Bhairavashtakam very soon. I will be uploading those videos, and um, also continue his Sahasranams. There's plenty of articles on internet, like 1,000 names of Kal Bhairav or 108 names, whatever you can do in the form of Bhairav Sadhana. My next sessions, I will talk about his Swarupa, his vehicle, different types of Bhairav. There are 8 types, which is Asitanga, Chanda, Rudra, Kapala. There are these main 8 types, and then there is definitely 64 Bhairav also, we say. But the main Bhairav that we will continue to talk about is Kal Bhairav, as well as our little Batuk Bhairav. The most cutest, the most handsome Bhairav are Batuk Bhairav. So, and with Batuk Bhairav, it does, I do wanted to mention that just as Krishna, as a little child, Krishna played many roles in his lifetime. He was a little child when he was born in a prison, and then as a little child, he was definitely very attractive, very loving, and he attracted all gopis. And you know all this, right? I mean, he stole butter, and he did every naughty prank that you could imagine or you could expect from a little kid. So in his Laddu Gopal form, we worship him, right? I mean, what a unique, what a cute form of Krishna. But the same Krishna, when in the Virat roop, have you seen? Like, I'm sure you have heard or read about it. So the same Bal Krishna, the same little Krishna, can also be a Virat Krishna, can also fight big wars, can also fight big asuras, can also fight Narkasur, who was a very, very powerful asur. And so Krishna played multiple roles in his life, from a little child to a lover to a little son to Gopal to killing all the asuras, to be the king of Dwarka, to being the best friend of Arjuna, to being really the main key hero of Mahabharata. So if Krishna can be worshipped and if Krishna can be kept in his little form, and there is absolutely, people don't fear Krishna, right? Even though Krishna has also fought asuras and all, it's just that we don't see any ferocious form of Krishna, right? If we start seeing any ferocious form of Krishna in his this and in his anger, this, I think many people will be like, oh God, this is so scary. Similarly, Batuk Bhairav is also the child form of Krishna, very easily pleased, and it is much more acceptable to pray to Batuk Bhairav to continue his sadhana. If one wants to get into Bhairav sadhana, I would recommend start with Batuk Bhairav sadhana, who is a very, very cutesy child form of, but equally powerful of killing any kind of asuras or any kind of enemies and problems from your life. So it is not just a cute little form just acting like a child, but the same child can also be a superhuman when you really need him to be. So that's the just the basic form of Batu Bhairav. In the next session, we'll definitely start to talk about different types of Bhairav and the Swarup of Bhairav, what we see Bhairav as, what is the origin of Bhairav? How was Bhairav? How did Bhairav appear in Kashi? And we'll get into a little bit of background of Kal Bhairav, and we will certainly talk about Shakti Sadhana, like I also mentioned. Like if you're already doing Shakti Sadhana, make sure you have done a few anushtans of Bhairav as well. And yes, I think in the next few lectures, also I do plan on talking about the Kal Bhairav Ashtakam with its meaning. So you guys understand the beautiful verses that was composed by Adi Shankaracharya. And it is so different than how one perceives or one imagines Bhairav to be. So I do want to bring to light the beautiful form of Lord Bhairav, the very akarshan, the very attractive form of Kal Bhairav that you will fall into love with Shri Kal Bhairav. So again, my few requests from each one of you is make sure you're always reciting Kal Bhairav Ashtakam if you want to see peace, pleasures, luxury, wealth. We'll also talk about Swan Akarshan Bhairav, who is the Bhairav who is capable of giving so much wealth that it will be beyond your control. Again, Bhairav has several forms. One of them is the form where he can give you so much gold. Swan means gold, Akarshan means attraction. So he has the ability to give so much wealth and so much gold in your life. And this is one sadhana that my own Guruji had done and had received positive results. So again, in very dire circumstances, people who have done these kind of sadhanas or want to do these kind of sadhanas, definitely this sadhana is something that is recommended. Making sure that the foundational sadhanas are already done before one jumps into these forms of sadhanas. So at least for the next 20 days or whatever days we have left, make sure you're already starting to think about Kal Bhairav, starting to think about his Swarupa, starting to do his Avahan. I will definitely post more videos about his Avahan, Dhyan Mantra. I already posted one video on his Dhyan Mantra. Make sure you guys have looked at it. And we'll talk about his Swarupa, his connection with dogs, his connection with Shakti Sadhana, and Batuk Bhairav, the little form, Kal Bhairavashtakam, so many things. So we'll definitely continue this series. And until then, Om Param Tattvaya Narayana Gurubhyo Namaha Jai Gurudev.